This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at the Home of Medicine Medical Marijuana Provisioning Center of Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Home of Medicine was designed first and foremost with the experience of their patient customers in mind. It was at the Home of Medicine where the innovative one-on-one dispensing style was first created and perfected, which patients really appreciate for the no-pressure atmosphere it creates. Ohm's super knowledgeable staff are there to help you choose the best medical marijuana products that are going to make you feel the best. If you're lucky enough to find yourself in the Ann Arbor area, swing over to the Home of Medicine to see how medical marijuana provisioning should be done. Find out how to find the Home of Medicine and learn more about all the cool things they do by opening up homeofmedicine.org, which is spelled O-M-O-F medicine.org. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Monday, June 25th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 518 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story of the day is a big national headline, as a video was posted to the internet on Saturday showing a woman apparently on her cell phone calling the police to report an 8-year-old girl for selling bottled water in front of her home, which was next to the woman's office in San Francisco. The woman on the phone is white, while the little girl and her mother, who filmed and posted the video, are not. That's a dynamic that's played out in very public ways in recent months, as videos have popped up of white people calling the police on non-white folks for doing innocent things like barbecuing or holding pool parties. The reason this is today's top story on the Daily is because the woman filmed calling the police has since been identified as marijuana entrepreneur Allison Etel, founder of the company Treatwell, which made CBD products for pets. Miss Etel's identity was broken soon after the video started picking up steam on Saturday, and from the looks of it right now, she's pretty much in hiding as her reputation and company are battered around by the internet. A lot of people are rightfully upset that someone who sells CBD products, which are very much not a completely legal product, would attack a small child for selling water without a permit. And of course, there's the central issue of race. Open this one up. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey announced on Friday that towns and cities in the Bay State were free to impose moratoriums on adult use marijuana businesses for up to a year without seeking approval from voters. The town of Mansfield had appealed to the state for a year-long extension on an existing moratorium that runs out this month, and on Friday, AG Healey released her decision to give the town more time, even though her office had previously said that any delay past the end of this year would be unconstitutional. There's a lot of hubbub in the state's industry over the news, which certainly will make it harder for legal cannabis businesses to open up, and that's likely to spur a lot of lawsuits by impacted entrepreneurs. If you're at all involved in the Massachusetts legal adult use market, this needs to be on your list of stories to read today. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Our final top story today is a nicer headline than our top two, as on Friday, Pennsylvania state lawmakers voted to approve proposed legislation to spool back up the state's innovative medical marijuana research program, which will allow licensed participating universities to partner up with dispensaries to sell cannabis raised by researchers. Some of the state's existing medical marijuana dispensary holders were not happy with the potential competition they saw coming from research institutions and filed a lawsuit last month that temporarily halted the program. The bill approved on Friday was drafted to overcome that lawsuit. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf's office said that the governor intended to sign the bill. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz it on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, the Home of Medicine Medical Marijuana Provisioning Center of Ann Arbor, Michigan. One of the great things about the Home of Medicine is that they are one of the few provisioning centers around with a full-time on-staff doctor. Dr. Evan is as knowledgeable as it gets when it comes to the medicinal benefits of medical cannabis and can answer any question that might fall beyond the knowledge range of Ohm's smart and well-educated staff. Ohm isn't required to have Dr. Evan on staff. Ohm's owners, Mark and Keith, brought him in because they knew it was the right move for their customer patients. That kind of attention to care is found throughout Ohm's entire operation. Find out how that manifests in the best medical marijuana buying experience you'll ever have by opening up ohmofmedicine.org, which again is spelled omofmedicine.org. Big thanks to everyone over at the Ohm of Medicine for the support that makes today's show possible. All right, time for the Blitz. My home state of Maine grabs our next two headlines. First, with a substantial proposed medical marijuana bill introduced into the Maine State Senate that would allow towns and cities in Maine to block legal medical marijuana caregivers from opening up storefront dispensaries. That provision of the bill, introduced last week by Maine State Senator Roger Katz, is similar to one passed earlier this year governing adult use cannabis. In addition, Senator Katz's bill would also eliminate qualifying conditions entirely, boost the number of licensed dispensaries from 8 to 12, and free up caregivers to service as many patients as they can from their 30 plant count limit. Our next story keeps us pinned up to the upper right-hand corner of the country as the Portland Press Herald takes a good longer-form look at the rapid development seen within Maine's industrial hemp industry, which has grown from having just a quarter acre of cultivation in 2016 to nearly 900 acres this summer. This is a storyline that will play out in a lot of states, so maybe not a bad one to read in full. CBC News is reporting on the booming job market in Canada's legal marijuana industry. With nationwide legal marijuana about to hit the country later this year, there are a lot of job openings for Canadian dispensaries and cultivation centers and processing facilities. One measure of the healthy market for Canadian cannabis professionals is the almost 600 job postings listed just on the website for marijuana giant Canopy Growth. One company, 600 job listings. Marijuana Moment's Kyle Yeager picked up on news over the weekend that both the state Democratic parties of New Hampshire and Texas have adopted pro-adult use legalization position planks. That follows closely on the news of Texas state Republicans adopting a plank in favor of medical marijuana. Swing over to Marijuana Moment to read the full language of the new pro-cannabis positions. One of the longer-running debates in our industry is the question of whether it's best to use the word cannabis or marijuana when talking about our substance of focus. While personally I'm a big fan of using both words, lots of people have developed strong opinions on the matter which fall one way or the other. The Toronto Star has an interesting new angle on the issue with a swing up to the northern Canadian province of Nunavut, where there's some debate on how to best translate the word marijuana or cannabis into lawmakers, the language of the indigenous Inuit people. I will not insult the language by attempting to pronounce the suggestions that have been made, which include the word for rock, because, getting stoned. This is one that you're just going to have to open up. Late last week, Utah Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox's office filed a motion in the U.S. District Court asking that a lawsuit be dismissed that seeks to block Utah state voters from considering medical marijuana on a ballot measure in the fall. We've been tracking this one for a while now, with prohibitionist activists employing all sorts of shady techniques in a desperate bid to stop the ballot measure. In the motion filed last week, Lieutenant Governor Cox argued that the prohibitionists who filed the lawsuit lack the standing to properly sue and that the ballot measure is proper and legal. We'll circle back on this one as it resolves. Finally for today, news broke on Friday that alcohol giant Molson Coors is fishing around the legal marijuana industry for an acquisition in a bid to hedge against losses in booze sales. BNN Bloomberg broke the story, which includes information from unnamed sources talking about Coors' cannabis search and some early discussions held with potential acquisitions. Any move by Coors would follow a similar alcohol to cannabis investment made by Constellation Brands, makers of Corona beer. Just more validation in the future of drinkable marijuana. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today. today.
One take, Shay. One take.